This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, which is the #1 sports podcast network out there. And a big night last night that we'll go over, at least in basketball, a perfect 3-0. The Cowboys still have a little bit of a pulse. I don't want to say that they're alive, but they still have a little bit of a pulse after beating the Raiders last night. We wore our black today to honor the Raiders because their season's officially dead, if they had any shot. But I think it was dead probably when it started. Dead on arrival, as they say. Yeah. All right, Lee, let's get to the basketball right out of the gate. And let's start with the blowout special with the Warriors and the Magic.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Golden State continuing their swing out east. They just blew out New Orleans a few days ago. Who hasn't blown them out? But now the Warriors in Central Florida taking on the Magic tonight. Orlando without Paolo Banchero. They have issues we'll talk about. But the Warriors, short favorite here, Lee. What do you like with the Warriors and the Magic?
All right, so Golden State's doing really well on this road trip, and they finished the last two games in Orlando against the Magic, and then tomorrow night against the Miami Heat, and I'll actually be there. Jimmy Butler will be coming home, and Steph Curry. Who knows? It's crazy. He's like 37 years old, and I think he dropped 49 last week on an opponent was outrageous. So maybe he lasts until 40, and then he starts finally breaking down at 40 like LeBron is. But they look really good. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders. They share the ball well. Draymond Green hasn't had a technical in a couple games, so like what they're doing. On the other hand, I do not like what I'm seeing with this Orlando Magic team. They're sitting at 500, and no Paolo Banchero tonight. How big is he to their team? Well, it's only averaging almost 22 points a game, over 8.5 rebounds, and over 4 assists. So he does everything. I also think that their bench has not been the same this year. They used to bring in guys off the bench, and it was like they just didn't slip up at all. Franz Wagner, his brother, Mortiz Wagner, has not played this year. He's been out, and I thought he was really good last year playing the forward position coming off the bench. He hasn't been available. Point guard Jalen Suggs, game time decision whether he plays or not. If he doesn't play, this line might even go up from 3 to 4 or 5 points. He averages over 12.5 points a game, 3.9 rebounds, and over almost 4.5 assists. So this team just has not been the same. Then on top of that, Banchero, he is apparently rumored to be not getting along with the head coach, Jamal Mosley. There's supposedly some type of disconnect. People always watching these things during the timeouts, apparently not paying a whole lot of attention with his head coach. So something is definitely going on there, I think. And, these superstars, they go through moods, and something's just not happening. Maybe they get a little fired up, without their star, Banchero, but I think that this is a team that's very limited. You look at the starting lineup, there's guys, you wouldn't even recognize half the guys that are starting. Guys coming off the bench, these are guys that weren't playing last year in the Gatorade League. I'm laying the 3 points here. We're going to start right away here with a nice, easy win with Golden State tonight over Orlando.
It's funny, you said to me before the show, kind of jokingly, that I think 98% of basketball fans couldn't name you the coach of the Magic. I said, you're wrong on that. I said it's 99.5%. I think
right.
They can't name it's just, and it's not disrespect to Jamal Mosley. It just goes back to, you think of like Steve Kerr, Spoelstra, Popovich, guys like that. And there's a lot of other coaches in the league that are there, and they're just not big names, and I think of that as one of them in Orlando. I mean, the Magic did make the playoffs last year.
Popovich isn't even coaching anymore. I bet you most people think he's still coaching the Spurs. So
right. Yeah, and that's exactly it. And you say 99% of people couldn't name you the coach of the Spurs. That's just what it is right now. But the Magic, defensively, they're not as good as they were last year. They're off a tough overtime loss to the Rockets a few nights ago. They were winning most of that game. So we'll see how it turns out tonight with them back at home against the Warriors. So let's look back at last night, Lee. And here on the show, you ended up going 3-0 on basketball picks. I lost my basketball pick on the Cavaliers in the first quarter. They won the game against the Bucks, but they got off to a slow start there. But your victories, you had on your short, which you can find on our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, Rice. They cover against Tennessee, and they were getting 26.5 and lost by 25. But like we say in the business, Lee, a win's a win.
There's a lot of games that I use my power ratings, and they're off like 2 to 5 points. So I'm going to take advantage of it. And that's why we've been winning in the college basketball and the NBA. We had a couple other games for our clients, teams that most people wouldn't even know who they are. They won. So we won the 2 games here. We won on the short 3-0 on our basketball picks. For our clients, went 2-0. So, may not be high profile games, some of them, but bottom line is a winner's a winner. And I still think that they have no idea, because most of these teams, if they played 5 or 6 games, they maybe have played one decent opponent. There's some teams, I'm telling you, Kevin, they're NAIA schools that they play one Division I opponent, and that's it. And you can't even find their schedule unless you look on the internet, not even on the app. So bottom line is lines are way inflated on some of these games because they still don't know how good they are. And you're going to pay a price. You want a top 25 team, a name team, you're going to pay an extra 2, 3, 4 points if you want to bet them. So let's take advantage and play some dogs on some of these and going against some of these big name teams.
I think the other thing too that people don't realize about college basketball, but they don't think about, when you look at the big name teams, if you see them off of a big game, let's just say, then they're in non-conference play, and then they play a mid-major team, a not big name team, they're laying 28, 30 points, chances are not going to be up for that game. That's just going to be let's get through this. We just played a state rival, or we just played another top 25 team. We're not really in the mood to play Fairfield
or a trap game, Kevin. Right. I mean, they're off playing a good opponent, and then the next opponent, they have a lot of these. There's going to be a lot of classics coming. Remember, this is we're coming up on Thanksgiving week next week, and there's going to be a lot of teams traveling, playing in Alaska, Hawaii, and they're getting ready to travel. So people think, oh, they're at home. They're playing Valpo. They're playing Stonehill.
Let's just get through this and move on. Yeah,
that's it. And trust me, they're thinking about it. You don't think that they're getting calls from their parents and friends? Oh, yeah, we just got our flight. We're going to go to Hawaii to watch you play. We're going to Alaska. We're going to go to Orlando from Philadelphia to watch you play. And it's a distraction. They're not. You think they're sitting up straight taking notes? When they're going to be playing Stonehill? Come on.
I love the Stonehill references. By the way, too, another winner last night, the former Civil War game, Oregon State, they covered against Oregon. The Ducks have not been good against the spread so far. Was that 0-4 against the spread for Oregon so far this year?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and it was always a cover. In fact, I think Oregon State missed like the last 3 or 4 shots. Could have been single-digit game. So, bottom line is Oregon State was fired up for the game, played hard. Oregon just getting through it. It's like playing their not even like playing their little brother. It's like playing their stepbrother.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we're not even in the Pac-12 anymore. We're in the Big Ten, and you're in the WCC. We didn't even care about you anymore. You did win too. You kind of had wire to wire on this one with the Timberwolves against the Mavs. We talked about the Mavericks yesterday and all their problems and their slow start, but Minnesota, after losing to Denver over the weekend, they bounced back and just rolled Dallas. And that was a wire-to-wire win as the heavy favorite.
Yep, easy peasy. Never, after I saw the score, after I switched to that game, middle of the first, it was over. So I love it. Some people like, oh, wouldn't you rather have a good game? No, I want a blowout.
Be done with it. Yeah. Why would you
Yeah.
want someone in sweat? No, be done with it. Be up 20, 25 points and then just roll from there. Now let's get to the NFL. And you had the Raiders yesterday, and I did like the logic on it. They've been close in a couple of these games. They lost 10-7 to the Broncos. They had the overtime loss to Jacksonville. I mean, the one big dud they threw up was the shutout loss to Kansas City. But Dallas, great offensively, terrible defensively. The Cowboys went out and they played well, and you knew they have a lot of fans out in Vegas just because always a lot of opposing fans out there at the Raider games. But Cowboys played well, and when their offense is clicking, it's very hard to stop.
Let me tell you something. That sounded like a home game. Whenever Dallas did something, the place erupted. They're selling out. And I don't know if you know this, the highest ticket price, I believe, is the Raiders, what they charge. So the resale market is outrageous. So it's sometimes $400 or $500 just to get in the door. But Cowboys fans paid it. They showed up. I thought there was going to be something, with a little hangover, the death of their teammate, but they played for them. They played well. The offense looked incredible. The Raiders defense looked unwatchable. They weren't even close to a lot of the receivers. CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, these guys, it was like they're playing 7-on-7 against high school kids. It was that much of a mismatch. And the defensive calls, they just didn't want to be there, the Raiders. And Dallas's defense, for once, looks good. So maybe the two players they traded for, Williams and the linebacker from the Bengals, maybe that's better than one great player, really good player. So I'm not so against the trade. So we'll see what happens. Whenever you have to pay someone as the best player in the league, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, a lot of times that just guts your salary cap, and probably would have gutted the Cowboys. So we'll see.
They're 10th right now in the NFC. That's the biggest issue with the Cowboys is that 4-5-1, and you had the loss to Carolina really is a backbreaker considering the Panthers are 6-5. You win that game, that changes things for tiebreaker. You lose to Jacoby Brissett in Arizona at home on Monday night a few weeks ago. That's a real killer. So I think Dallas, there's just nowhere to, unless you win out. And Lee, I know you mentioned this, so I'll give it to you. The next 3 weeks for the Cowboys, they're not winning all three of those games.
No. But you never know. Let's say they win 2, go wild, then they got a shot. They got to win 2 out of 3. They go 1-2, they're done. But that offense right now is scary good. And getting Williams from Denver, I always thought he was good. I don't understand why Denver just discarded him. I know they ended up picking up Dobbins. Now he's hurt, but something happened. Maybe he was damaged goods. Maybe he hurt his knee or something. I know he did, but maybe they thought, I believe he might have had ACL surgery, and usually it takes 2 years to come back from ACL surgery. Not the same the first year. He looks pretty good. So who knows? You never know. Seen stranger things happen in the NFL. It's not like Kansas City is. Kansas City's not the same team. So who knows? Maybe they can somehow squeak out a 2-run record and then go on a roll against the last couple opponents, and then win them all.
Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, the next 3 for the Cowboys. So good luck with
Lions,
that.
Tigers, Bears.
No, my! Now let me ask you this: I want a quick thought from you on this. Does Pete Carroll quit after this year? Is he just done?
He should.
Be done with this.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
I didn't like I never liked the hire. I mean, I know he has a lot of enthusiasm, but combination. I mean, they made a horrible choice in Geno Smith and paying him all that money. Seattle probably made the better decision, but there's no talent on that defense besides Crosby. Nothing.
Now, quickly from college football, the only big news coming out of yesterday was James Franklin will be the new head coach of Virginia Tech. And luckily, there's no top 5 teams in the ACC, so he doesn't have to worry about losing any games to them soon. But what do you think of the hire? I mean, he still was all right at Penn State. He just couldn't get over the hump against those good teams. I mean, obviously this year, they had some terrible losses, but I think the time was up for a divorce for them, but still a decent name, and he's got a decent resume to go to Virginia Tech.
He can assemble talent. So I think it's a good hire for Virginia Tech. Like I said, they don't have to worry about playing any top 5 opponents. He's good against the medium teams. Look at the talent he's put in the NFL the last 5, 7, 8 years. Incredible. So he's going to assemble some talent as a Miami fan, didn't want to see him go there. And isn't it strange they announced it the week of the last home game against Miami, looking to maybe get a buzz? Didn't do it last week. I'm sure this was almost a done deal 2 weeks ago. They could have announced it last week, but they're traveling to play Florida State. Why not wait until Monday and the week they're playing Miami, get a buzz, maybe sell some more tickets, and I'm sure they're going to trot him out there at halftime or show him on the Vision Diamond Vision screen there, sitting in the press box, waving to everyone, and they go absolutely crazy. So I think it's a very good hire for Virginia Tech. Get some money behind that program. Hey, you can be horrible one year and good the next in the ACC.
I really was under the impression Shane Beamer was going to leave South Carolina, take that job, and then he blows this 20-something point lead at Texas A&M. Then Virginia Tech has a new head coach. You're kind of like, I get fired. I can't go back there. I don't really have a lot of choices. I mean, you have choices, just not that choice.
Right.
But we'll see how that turns out for everyone. All right, we still have a lot more to get to here. We have another NBA play as well as some college football. Speaking of the SEC, we'll get to that. And a college basketball lock tonight. You got the two big games in New York City with Duke and Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State. We got one of those games coming up with a lock in just a little bit. So all of that is straight ahead. You are listening to Locked On Bets. Time now to talk about FanDuel and the NFL season just rolling on. We're getting to the good part of the season right now. So FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. You get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what can you bet on? So many different things. Moving on to week 12 of the NFL this week. And it's going to be a very busy week. We keep seeing things change as far as Super Bowl odds go. The Philadelphia Eagles, they are currently the favorite at FanDuel to win the Super Bowl. And then you got a big game in the AFC coming up on Thursday. The Bills and the Texans meet in Houston. So if you want some Josh Allen props, perhaps you have them there. Also, you have the MVP props. We talked about it the whole season. It's been a merry-go-round of MVP favorites. This time it's Matthew Stafford of the Rams. He is the favorite. Also, Drake May of the Patriots right behind. So you want to get some good odds on some of those quarterbacks. You can check them out at FanDuel. Also, you have college football continuing, college basketball, NBA, NHL. So many things you could jump on. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue here, Locked On Bets on a Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. So let's continue with the NBA and tonight's Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
The late night NBC game, it sounds weird to say. I don't know what decade we're in, but the late night NBC game for the NBA, it is the Blazers and the Suns. And they're meeting in Portland tonight. The Blazers, a 2-point favorite. And we're going to take, Lee, the Portland Trailblazers. I understand a hidden gem would normally be an underdog, but in this case, because the Blazers have not been great of late, we're going to lay the points with them. Now, Portland is off of a 5-game road trip, and they went 1-4. They lost to the buzzer to Orlando, lost in overtime to Dallas. The only really bad loss was in Houston. They got blown out. They beat New Orleans, who's bad. And the Heat, they went back and forth with. But let me tell you this, though, Lee. The Blazers are 3-2 at home. They've not played a lot of home games so far. The 5 games they have played, the 5 teams they have played are all in the top 7 in the Western Conference. They lost to Minnesota. They lost to the Lakers with Luka and Austin Reeves out. We know LeBron's out, but they were heavy favorites in that game, and the Lakers had a patchwork roster, and they beat the Blazers. But Portland's beaten Golden State. They've beaten Denver. And guess what? They've handed Oklahoma City their only loss of the season. So Portland has had some confidence playing at home. Phoenix had started 0-4 on the road. They've won their last 2 on the road, but they beat the Clippers and the Mavs, who aren't good. And Phoenix just blew that big lead to Atlanta on Sunday at home. I just think that the Blazers bounce back here, back in their home court. They've had a tough schedule. Let's take the Blazers, laying the points with them against the Suns as our hidden gem.
Love it, Kevin. In fact, I think me and you and a dog named Boo were the only ones that were on this game. I almost picked this game also. So they're good at home, and I think they're fired up. They're going to be playing a lot of games at home now, and one of the better home teams just have had a really tough schedule, having to go on the road so much so far this year, and I think they're going to be fired up for this game. I think it's a great spot for Portland. Not too many good spots for them. They're a bad team, but this is a great spot.
Yeah, we'll see if they could bounce back here at home. So now let's go to college football. SEC Saturday, Vandy and Kentucky. Time now for our wrong team favorite.
What the WTF?
Vanderbilt's had a great season, and they're 9.5-point favorites against Kentucky coming up on Saturday. But could this be a stumble spot potentially, Lee, for the Commodores against Kentucky? The last stand for Stoops.
Yep. So big game here for Mark Stoops. They're 5-5. I believe he's got to get to a bowl. He's got to win either this game or against Tennessee. Tennessee's might even be the tougher game for them. Tennessee's always giving them fits here. Vanderbilt 8-2, and you're like, okay, probably the spot at home, fighting for a college football playoff spot if they win out. And I'm sorry, Kentucky plays Louisville. My bad. Last game, their rivalry game, which would be really tough. I think that Vanderbilt, a lot of pressure is on them here. So they have not been able to run the ball well at all. So much is on their quarterbacks, his shoulders here. Diego Pavia, the last two games, the leading rusher, not named Diego Pavia, were 39 yards and 11 yards. 50 yards total from non-quarterback rushers. That's their running back. So that's a problem here. Kentucky, 7-2 last 2 years as a plus 7-point underdog. They love this role. All of a sudden, they found their offense. Running backs Dante Dowdle, Seth McGowan, over 350 rushing yards in the last two games. They scored 38 and 42 points. You control the line of scrimmage, you're going to win a lot of games. The defense held Auburn to 3 points and Florida to 7 points in wins there. So Stoops, really, really good here. Also against Vandy, 3-2, last 5. And the two losses, last year by 7, a few years ago by 3 points, never by more than a touchdown. They're going to be sky high for this game. Nothing to lose, trying to get to a bowl, trying to save Stoops' job here. He's going to throw it all out here. Give me the 9.5 points in the Kentucky Wildcats. Wrong team favorite.
Yeah, and for Vandy as well, off this win over Auburn, Tennessee on deck, and that's always a big game there. Yeah, this could be the slip-up game for the Commodores coming up on Saturday. We do have one final play left. We will talk about the college basketball lock, Duke and Kansas. They meet at Madison Square Garden. We're going to check that out next right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. College basketball, 2 huge games at Madison Square Garden in New York. It starts with Michigan State and Kentucky, then followed by Duke and Kansas. We're going to look at the Blue Devils and the Jayhawks for our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Always exciting when these teams all get together. It's like a mix and match every year of these 4 teams, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and Michigan State. So Bill Self and John Shire squaring off tonight. It used to be Bill Self and Krzyzewski, but now John Shire, been there the last few years, keeping up the Duke program. Duke favorite here against Kansas. Lee, what do you like?
So you look at this Duke team, and I've been watching every game. Obviously, the Bruiser brothers are from down in Miami. Saw them play many times at Columbus High School. I think they won something like 4 straight state titles. Really talented. They look like men. They look like almost like an NBA team when they walk out on the floor. Cameron Boozer, obviously, probably top 3, top 4 pick NBA draft, but his brother coming off the bench, Caleb Foster, Dame Sarr, they're just loaded. They go like 9, 10 deep. I think Kentucky might be a good team, but maybe not yet. Their best player, Darren Peterson, has not played last couple games with a hamstring issue. Even if he's able to try to give it a go, He's projected to be a high pick in the first round. Can't be close to 100%. Know what a hamstring injury is all about. So probably trying to get him ready in the showcase game here. They love putting these show teams, these blue bloods, out on national TV. They want him to play here. If he doesn't play, they're going to get blown out. But even with him, I think the line is still too low here. We're going to go with Duke here. 9 p.m. Eastern game. Line's right at double digits, but I see it as a blowout special. Duke big over Kansas tonight in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, and see if the Blue Devils can keep it up. The Boozer brothers have been rolling so far. And again, very good game, but Kansas down probably its top player. So we'll see how they respond there. All right, Lee, with NFL shifting to week 12, another big week of college football starting tonight with more action, college basketball, NBA, so much going on. What is going on? Dovember continues at Paramount Sports.
Yep, football. It's going to be another big weekend. Had another winning week. We've now won 3 straight weeks, Saturday and Sunday, college football and the NFL. NFL record 33-11-1, 75% over the last 9 weeks on our 5 picks. It's called Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. You can get it right now. We're going to release the games, it looks like, probably on Thursday. So you get the best line. 5 games for 4 weeks, just $197. Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. Basketball, entire season, $12.97 from today all the way through the NBA Finals, college basketball and NBA. So, I mean, you're going to get 7 months of action, $1,297. Works out to less than $200 a month. So if you want to get on it, just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets. Also, you can find shorts on there as well, where Lee has got pick in less than a minute. You can find that on our YouTube channel. Also, you could find the podcast version on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Again, type it in Locked On Bets. And we will be back with you coming up on Wednesday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.